Well, good morning to you. And of course, many people will, and you've been remembering Pravin Gordhan over the last few days, and more people will be talking about him today.
Certainly, more people. We spoke a short while ago to someone who knew him for over 40 years as activist of the Natal Indian Congress back then. He was reminiscing over the time spent together with his comrades as activists here, helping communities and the like. But I am joined right now by the Provincial Secretary of the African National Congress, Bheki Mtolo, who has already arrived here to, of course, make sure that the leadership of the party is comfortable. Everything has been organized. It started yesterday with a well-organized, I must say, memorial service at the Kendra, at the Kendra Hall. What can we expect today from the leadership from you and the rest of the leadership of your party, who are hosts at a party political level?
No, well, greetings to your viewers. We are here to make sure that when the president comes, everything is in order, and the SG, they are coming. Everything, because the SG will do tribute on behalf of the ANC, and then the president will do Ilorochi on behalf of government. And because we are celebrating a life of an understanding leader of our people, not only a leader of the African National Congress, but a leader of the South African people, we have stood the test of time, we have sacrificed his life, his youthful life, during the dark days of apartheid in the 70s, 80s. He participated in the underground, in the Natal Indian Congress, in the UDF, and then he came to government. He did an outstanding work, both at SARS as a commissioner, also as a minister in various portfolios. I remember when he was a minister of Kokta. When he was a minister of Kokta, there are things that he did, because that time I was a mayor of Kokta municipality. It introduced the Back to Basics program that we must do basic things. Robot must work, there must be no potholes in the city centers and all that. There must be no pipe sewerage that is going on. And he was firm on that. He also brought some regulations on the appointment of senior managers, starting to remember in local government, there was a tendency of appointing whoever you want to appoint. You appoint people who are CFOs, who got marketing diplomas and all that. He brought regulations, and then he went to an extent of making sure that before they are appointed, even if they are qualified, the test of capacity must be about. They must go an arithmetic test and all that, where they are tested by independent institutions. And then from there, we started to see other municipalities picking up, because now they are appointing qualified, credible individuals with experience and all that. Then he has been there, and then he went to the public enterprise. Of course, he was vilified, but people have forgot that he assumed that position where most of the state-owned enterprises were on their end in terms of governance systems and all that. And you see, for example, an institution like Transnet is a very big state company. Then if you come for in that company has been mismanaged for years, PRASA and all that, it will take you time to reorganize it. But especially when you find it that there's a pushback internally, there's no support. But it stood firm. He started to be vilified when he started to talk tough on corruption, tough on wrongdoing, tough on low moral threshold of leadership in government and in the party itself.
Do you think he was widely vilified, or was he not vilified by the people, as some other people have said, who stood to benefit from state capture, who stood to benefit from corruption? Weren't those the people, or do you feel he was widely vilified?
No, he was vilified by thieves, of course, by thieves and thugs who see government as their a milking cow for their own families and all that. It's just that their voices are loud. You see, the problem about South Africa is that the voices of thugs and criminals and thieves is very louder than those good men. And then you remember when Joel said at some point that the beneficiaries of state capture and corruption, they won't go down without a fight. I'm telling you, my bro, since I've been the provincial secretary of the ANC 2022, I've experienced that. They fight back. There's a huge fight back.
But don't you think that the great majority of South Africans are able to see through that?
The great majority of South Africans, even the great majority of the membership of the ANC and majority of structures, they see that. That's why in the ANC now, you can see that everybody start to embrace the renewal project, because they know that without the renewal project, the ANC will die. And if the ANC dies, there's going to be a problem, because the National Democratic Revolution will collapse. And all of us, and South Africans are starting to see what it is. Of course, there are those who are misled, because sometimes the language of thieves becomes sweeter than those who are good. But it's a short-term memo. It's a short-term thing. It's going to be defeated.
I mean, but are you seeing any real, meaningful change among your comrades? In other words, a move towards doing all the right things, delivering for the people, ending corruption on the ground, because you are the person running the ANC in this province.
Yes, there is a change, but it's not going according to our pace we want. There is a change. As I'm saying, remember, there are those who go to push hard, there are those who push back. But as we do consequence management, people are held accountable. I think over a period of time, within a short space of time, thieves will now realize that there's no space for them.
But where is that change? Where do we see that change? What can you point to as evidence of that tide beginning to turn?
Just look at the Auditor General's report of the provincial government of KwaZulu-Natal that we have increased clean audits. If you look at the current Auditor report, General's report of the 6th administration, it has proven that in the provincial government, those departments that have having clean audits, state entities, were increasing than previous years. That shows that we are starting to win the battle against corruption and maladministration.
Now, you would have been part of conversations with the family about, I mean, as one of the chief representatives of the ANC in the province, as you are preparing for both the memorial service but also the funeral. In the conversations with the family, how best did they want both this funeral and, of course, yesterday's memorial service to happen? Did they have specific things that they insisted on as to how that would reflect how best they feel Pravin Gordhan should be remembered?
One thing you must know about the family of Comrade Pravin, for example, let's talk about his wife. His wife is a revolutionary on her own right. It's just that sometimes wives who are in the revolution with their husbands, they sometimes being overlooked. She is a stalwart of the ANC in her own right, and the doctors. I must tell you the truth. It's a family that doesn't demand anything, Shem. They just wanted Pravin to be given a befitting farewell. They didn't demand anything. Even the state funeral came on its own from the president and from the ANC National Executive Committee and the Office of the Secretary General. That family is a family that has been built with a culture of selfless sacrifice. They don't demand anything. They just want Pravin to be given a befitting farewell. That's all they want.
Does it bother them that he has been, or there are people who have, to use your word, vilified him, even in death?
Yeah, it bothers them. It bothers all of us. For example, remember, the daughter once said, people, they forget that politicians got families. It says one thing that is outstanding for her is that when he was about to be charged wrongfully by the NPA, when NPA was used as a political tool to fight opponents that were fighting corruption, he said he could not imagine his father going with being handcuffed to sent to jail, because he knew that his father is an honorable man. Yes, of course, but they knew also that there are people in South Africa, in various civil society organizations, in the ANC, in the alliance that stood with Pravin, and they knew Pravin is doing the right thing.
How best do you think your comrades should honor him, but also the best way that you feel he should be remembered?
The only way we can honor Pravin as the African National Congress, we must intensify the renewal program, and we must be firm on it. Of course, there's a pushback, but we must be firm. But we must also work with the family and the Katrata Foundation to use his biography to teach South African society, what it means to be a selfless human being, to be a person who stands out, to be ethical, and also to not compromise on your principles if you know that your principles stand for good.
Would that include regaining what you've lost in the May 29 election?
Yes, of course. For example, if you look at the by-elections, we are starting to gain what we have lost because the truth of the matter, for example, in KZN, it was nothing else other than a personality cult of an individual, which we ourselves as a movement, we ought to be blamed collectively because at some point in time, we treated a particular individual like above all of us. And then society believed that he's above all of us. But as things go, you can see the way now things are happening. People are starting to now see the real devil. They are starting to regain trust to the African National Congress.
Bheki Mtolo, let me thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
The Provincial Secretary of the African National Congress, Pravin Gordhan's political home, Mr. Bheki Mtolo. Of course, over the next hour as we build up towards 10 o'clock, we are going to speak to people who represent other aspects of Pravin Gordhan's life. We'll be speaking to someone who has witnessed his work firsthand at the South African Revenue Services. We will be speaking to a former cabinet colleague. We will also be speaking to that SAA episode, which of course was among the last episodes of his political life, certainly in the National Assembly. All that and more is what we are going to bring you over the next 40-odd minutes or so. But for now, it's back to you in Studio Steva.
And Voyo, before we let you go, and I know there are plenty of people there that you're talking to, and of course we can see also the mortal remains of Pravin Gordhan on their way now to the venue where you are at the moment.